2 days ago on this vlog, I spoke about a concept that has been very top of mind lately, which is pretty much your shortcomings are not a virtue signal. And I think it's something that we take as a very big, just mental blind spot when we look at successful people. And not to say that I am made where I want to be, but I've had people look at me because I'm in whatever aspirational position relative to where they are, and I look at other people the same way, which is why I've learned this concept, is you look at them and you go, whoa, this person's achieved so much and they still do X. Oh, Elon Musk is worth this amount of money and he plays video games, or he's out of shape, or he's XYZ. And I was talking about how there's so much nuance involved because there are foundational vices that are actually productive to our success that oftentimes we don't consciously realize. And something that I've been so back and forth on in my own personal life, because to be honest, there's no way to diagnose anybody but yourself, and even yourself is extremely difficult. I have had a back and forth around one thing that I spoke about in that video, which I kept private. And in this video, I want to talk about another one, which is my appearance. I don't really put much effort into it. I wake up, I whip on a hat. It's kind of just like the MVP, minimum viable option or product to get to my desk and begin working. And that's been kind of my recipe so far, but I realize that is inherently flawed because it leads to poor perception on my end of not conveying the things that I want, and it's also just the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So I notice that when I don't clean up well, or I stop working out, or all these things, it typically has trailing popcorn. So popcorn means you do it today and you see the results at some time in the future, effects on my business and just overall life. So something that I am going to honestly, so for me, I turn 19 in a week and a bit from now, and I always like to just start the new year and planning my new year of goals on my birthday, right? Because it's pretty close. So that is what my plan is to do. So today I'm going to be putting down my 2026 goals and what I want to achieve. And one of them, which I'm going to be practicing from this moment going forward, is going to be just dressing better and looking less sloppy, because I see so much impact of it on my life, friends' life, etc. And it's just been something I've neglected, and I can see the side trailing effects of that in my environment and the way that I look at myself. And as much as I have always almost like tried to take the intellectual high ground, which is something that I tend to do a lot, I still notice that, like, hey, I probably shouldn't be doing this. So that's the plan for today. Alright boys, so after a little shower, this is the outfit that we got. So just on that alone, I think this is a 10x improvement. Give you guys a kind of like a whole overview. And something that I don't even, like, words can't describe how much better this looks than what I was doing before. To give you guys like here is the full body of kind of what I look like. And I looked in the mirror probably about 5 minutes ago, and I was wondering to myself, is this the same person? It's, again, something I've neglected so much and I think would make so much of a big difference. So it's definitely going on my goal list for the year of 2026, and something I'm going to be expressing going forward, because while I've managed to get on without it, I know the power, not even for optics and branding, but just for myself and how I treat myself with perception of everything. So yeah, honestly, people who know me probably are baffled that I'm doing this, or or yeah, just can't believe it, because I've almost been on the opposite end of the spectrum for so long. But I think it's something that needs to be done. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. And now, I really didn't get much sleep last night. I went to bed around 6 a.m. and woke up around 9 a.m. So what I'm going to be doing for today is just planning my new year and kind of reflecting, getting ready for my 19th birthday, whatnot. And then I did some client work last night. Then from that point on, I just want to do a little bit of final touch-ups to help my editor get on with the video. Then I want to make some changes to the business end of what I do. And then beyond that, I want to start getting the next video ready, which I'm not going to reveal who it's on yet, but I imagine during the research phase, you guys will find out. Okay, run's about halfway done. Did around 5K. I might be doing some on the way back, but feeling really good. And yeah, gonna get some of my push-ups, pull-ups, and squats in, and then it'll be a full day of working out. So you guys probably saw my hands got all blue from this ink and using this pen here, which I don't know why I'm forgetting what they're called, ink pens, but there's another word for them. I like both. These pens I like more for just general day-to-day because you can do flips with them more easy than this one, which is kind of heavy and you can't really do as much with it. But on a more serious note, I have been spending the entire day just reflecting on, kind of like my 18th year, I guess, and just what I got going on and what I need to do in the next year, right, to make sure that I achieve all the things that I want to. And there's been a very big breakthrough that I've had, something that I actually want to leave private for now, because going into all the depths of it would kind of like uproot my entire psyche, which I'm not even sure if I'm right about it, so I just don't want to put it out there just yet. But it has been a really profound breakthrough, and I know that going forward, you probably have seen, and I've been on this upward trajectory when it comes to my YouTube main channel, and then I guess just remaining consistent with these. I only have 60 subscribers at the time of this recording. But after that and going forward, I think that can begin to really become exponential this year. And I have kind of got the social media aspect of things pretty locked in. I've been focusing a lot on that over the last little while here, and it's also my responsibility to make sure the business side of things is very locked in as well. So making sure that happens, and then really just leveling up. Something that I think I said earlier, but we need to learn how to get out of our own way, and it's especially relevant for me. I think it's relevant for anybody. I just know how it applies to me. Usually there are things that you are doing that are getting in your way, and we cannot calculate how big of a thing that is. Because for me, again, I'm not gonna share the exact details, but this thing had a massive trickle-down effect that I believe. Now, I think, again, it's ultimately positive, but I believe that if I would have solved it earlier, the results that I would have gotten just by doing the exact same actions that I'm taking would have been exponentially different. And it's very funny. We almost grow like deformed trees, right? Where you see a tree that's grown around a building, or there's this object or another tree or something. And the way that our kind of psyches and mental complexes form is the same way. Is we might have this locked off zone of our brain or whatever trauma or event, and we grow and build around that. And I almost try and visualize it because it helps a lot. But what's interesting is if you really just do the fundamental things and you get all of them down, it becomes almost impossible for you not to get the breakthroughs that you are looking for. And the thing is that usually those very touchy subjects are the ones that we like to draw conclusions on. It's the one we're the most convicted in. And usually when we're convicted in them, at least in my case scenario, I'm wrong about them. So I know this seems a bit airy-fairy when it comes to the tactical of what I'm doing. Let me read it off to you guys so you can get a better understanding. So I, as I mentioned earlier, want to do a level up of my wardrobe. I can explain that more at length another time and do like a little bit more of a conversation on optics, both for self-perception and also for brand. Then just continuing my exercise, I want to have strength training in addition to my running that I'm doing. That one is something that I've been pretty good about, so I'm not too concerned about any big changes there. A part of the clothing one thing that I'm doing here is I am removing the ability for me to wear certain clothes, right? Because if I have a closet full of, I'll give you an example. This is like typically the kind of shirt that I would throw on at 4 a.m. and just say like, whatever, we're gonna ball. This is a large black t-shirt that probably fits me super weird, and it's got painting stuff on it. And again, me from 48 hours ago, I guess, or 24 hours ago, you're like, whatever, just throw it on. Shirt doesn't matter, clothes don't matter, da-da-da. And I'm starting to realize just how wrong that was, and yeah, really just overall how it was a complete like mental overstep to kind of go beyond that. Because if you don't think your physical appearance matters, well, you start not caring about how your environment looks, and that matters, and then that becomes your business, and then it just trickles down and becomes this big problem that you have. So that's when people say personal problems or business problems, that's kind of what they're, I guess, alluding to in my case scenario. Then I want to establish my 2026 goals. So I'm actually gonna write them down here live with you guys. This could be pretty cool. So one of the goals that I want to hit in the year of 2026 is going to be 100,000 subscribers on, and then at I'm Alex Newman. So that's my main YouTube channel where I do the creator breakdown videos or creator investigation videos. So that is the first goal that I have. The second goal that I want to achieve is I want to go ahead and invest an additional $250,000 into my portfolio. So I've talked about this a little bit, but a lot of people, including myself, like for the longest time, I never ran the numbers on investments and I guess really how it works. It's typical of like humans overestimate what they can do in 1 year and then underestimate what they can do in 5. So, give you an example. I, in years previous, would go, oh, well, investing $250,000, that's not good, right? That's not good, because that's going to take you 5 years to get $1 million invested or whatever. And you just don't think about the numbers. So assume you pay 30% to tax, and then you want to keep 20% to have living expenses. That means you have to profit $50,000 a month to reinvest $250,000 into your portfolio. So $50,000 a month profit is a lot more difficult than people think, especially maintained on a yearly basis, right? Because it's not, so many people, especially in the info and agency world, I mean, agency is a little bit different if you have contracts, but there's fluctuating revenues. So yeah, it's like you might have $100,000 a month, but what's your ARR? And then what's the profit underneath that? So I will consider this year a win if I can successfully invest $250,000 additionally into portfolio. And the best part about that is you don't plan for unicorn investment opportunities, but just by having a, I guess, know-how of crypto, and I'm not really an investor when it comes to the stock market. I'm not at all. I would say crypto, I'm more knowledgeable. That's a place where you can look for outsized returns on more speculative stuff. So I like to use a barbell strategy, which means that a large percent are in ultra safe assets, and then a small minority are in super risky. So I can talk about investment splits and what that kind of means in a different video. But then the third and final goal, I'm trying to figure out how to actually put it into a sentence to explain what it would be to you guys. Pretty well, it is, I want to upgrade my fashion and style, consistently work out and remain in better shape. Maybe I can set another goal. I've done a marathon, so I'd want to set a cool fitness goal for the year. Then I want to just get out and be a bit more social, do some trips. I want to enjoy summer next year. That's something I want to intentionally make sure that I do. So I'll have to find a way to summarize this all, but that is pretty well my plan for, the year of 2026, my 19th year on the planet. And now it just comes down to a matter of execution, continuing to grow. The final thing that I want to talk about is how I'm actually integrating the business aspect of what I do into the content that I post. And I'll give you a quick summary because it would take me quite some time to break down the entire thing. But with the way my content is positioned in the market right now, it is pretty flagrant in the messaging of like, oh, it is going to get people riled up, and that's okay. That's the purpose. And I think ultimately, again, considering I do a good job presenting a fair representation of, I guess, the morals of the business, so good results, bad results, scandals, etc. And I just focus on doing a really good job actually getting the facts right of their story, sharing details that otherwise people wouldn't know, and then beyond that also just doing a good job representing the strategies they use on the business end. I should be able to, off the back of that, grow my company, YouTubepreneur, which is pretty much going to be targeted down, because this is the biggest thing that I run into, is I've had a bunch of fallacies and just like, again, mental oversights about how can I actually target with broader content. And so because of that, what I'm going to be doing is focusing on getting a really clear target of who I actually help, and to give you just my initial thoughts of stuff I wrote down. So I work with coaches, I guess anybody that wants to sell information. So I don't know if coaches is the verbiage that I want to use, because that might not be what these people do, but I think the way that I can get clear on who my target audience is, it is somebody that doesn't want to do lifestyle marketing. So they don't have a bunch of flashy stuff in order to get attention. They have business credibility, and in addition to that, they want to create talking head business videos. That's specifically what I specialize in. So just finding a way to get niche down to that. And I think that's a really good juxtaposition based on the content to demonstrate my credibility making YouTube videos, but then also have an option that when my target market reads and clicks through to my videos, they will go, oh, this offer is for me. So that's kind of a roundup, and I have no clue why I decided to just sit down and plan out the next little while, probably a year or so. I'll definitely revisit these around the time of my birthday, which is in just about a week from now, and then in the new year I'll also probably revisit them to just kind of confirm and check over. But especially in the, I guess, service-based info world, it actually usually slows down around this time of year. So I find it a really good, not this time of year, I'm saying like after the second week of December, it's usually extremely slow, and you can see it kind of start to like slow down into that kind of time of year. So I like to get an early start on the year and what I want to think about, and it's different with different industries. Like e-com, Q4 is like their heyday, like they're locked in right now. This is their time of year. So in the info world and what I do, it's actually pretty chill around this time of year, and it really heats up in the new year is kind of the heyday, because everybody's thinking about what they did do, what they didn't do, and within the first few months of the year, that's kind of the equivalent of the Q4 gold rush in the e-com industry. So just a little yap if you care to know. But what I'm going to be doing now is, it is 11:50 p.m. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be working evenings for just the next little while here, because I want to be on an opposing schedule from my editor. So I'm going to cut the vlog right after this and get you guys actually probably started on the next vlog. But only other work I'm going to be doing is working on client scripts and also putting together a self-alchemy, which, if you guys know, actually not a self-alchemy, probably just a vision board, just with some anchors to remind yourself, because the more often you see something, you can be reminded to visualize it, etc., and it just kind of plays on to the compounding feedback. So that's all. I'm gonna be doing that, getting some client scripts ready, and then continuing to get the editing ready, and I will update you guys. But hopefully this could be of value. Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you boys later.